going on? What's going on? Naviel, Seven Seals, back at it with another one. This time around, we're talking about how can you get into music as a producer and a recording artist in 2024. The main thing I would say, first thing first, is a computer. Make sure you have a computer. Windows or Mac, that's up to you. The main thing is memory. Memory, RAM memory, them two. If you don't have enough RAM, you're not going to be able to run certain software. It's going to glitch out on you. And if you don't have memory, then, decent size amount of memory, then you're not going to be able to download the software and create songs. So memory is important. How much memory you should have? 500 gigs is cool. 500 gigs is cool. You get an external hard drive and you get a cloud drive. You get something like a cloud drive from Google or iCloud, depending on what you go through. You can get different clouds and then get an external hard drive. Once you get an external hard drive, you can just always reset your computer. Now that's the main thing, man. Now do your research on, RAM. These have 6 to 8 gigs of RAM. I think that's the standard. 6 to 8 gigs of RAM, 500 gigs of memory. If you want to go deeper into it, you can get the SSD hard drive inside of your computer and look and see what kind of hard drives. SSD hard drives are faster. Solid state drives, they faster. I think they download up to like a gig a minute or something like that. HD hard drives are older and but they cheaper and you still can get the job done, but it's arbitrarily up to you. It's up to you if you want to go that route, if you want to get that fancy. That's computers, number one. Number two, software. Now I'm gonna start from the free software because I was on a budget. I started off with GarageBand. Did I like it completely? No, but the way that thing's updated now, and when I started out, it wasn't that user friendly, but now you can really record and be good. GarageBand will get you in the door. It'll get you to figure out what is what. You don't want to overcomplicate. You don't want to overcomplicate yourself, especially when you're getting into music and you don't really know anything. You want to stick to the most basics. Deal with that until you get frustrated. And what I mean by frustrated, deal with it until it feels like it's a ceiling and it's not too much. That's just the free. Another free option that producers can get into in 2024. Producers, if you want to get into something, get a MIDI board from your local music store. It don't matter what music store. And usually your MIDI board comes with software. They either come with like a light version of Pro Tools, light version of Ableton. Most of the times that I've seen, one by PreSonus, you end up getting a light version of Cubase. So them three, it's like a bang for your buck. Like you can get a MIDI board and it comes with software and you can just record and do all your things and produce. And if you need to actually record vocals, you can actually record vocals in it too. That's the free version and that's the not so free version, but you get a bang for your buck. So them two options are dope. And then if I was to have another option, it would just be 30-day trials. People might knock the 30-day trials, but 30-day trials is enough to get you to understand, like, do I like this DAW? And what I mean by DAW, digital audio workstation. That's your software that you use to work. Your DAW is going to be based on your preference. Each DAW is definitely different. Some DAWs, some people don't like Pro Tools, but Pro Tools is really good for mixing and mastering. Some people don't really. A lot of people like Ableton. It's a little bit more free flow. You can remix. You can do a lot of more production. And I use Reason. I started off with Reason. I like it for the sound design. Everything is different, but the main thing is workflow. What works for you? Play around with the sequences. Play around with recording. You got 30 days. You can get all the software you want. Take your time with it though. Try one software that you really might like and it looks appeasing to you, did your research, and go with it. That's two. That's software. Take your research on the software. The analog to digital and the digital to analog signal is one of the key things. Because you can have a good recording, you can have good equipment, and you can have a good mic, you can have a good drum machine, but your interface cannot handle that much sound into it. And what I mean by sound into it is dynamic range. You know, dynamic range is basically how loud something can get before it distorts, and the lowest spectrum of the dynamic range is basically how low something can get before you start to hear like hiss and hum and static and all of that stuff. So think of your interface as one big box that's converting this freaking signal from analog to digital in the best way possible. In the best way possible. Now, if you don't have a good interface, your software not gonna sound good. Your instrument's not gonna sound good. Do you need to blow the whole bank on the interface? Especially if you get into it? No, you don't. You got really good interfaces that you can get at very good prices. If I was to recommend any interface, I would go with the Vault, or I would go with PreSonus. Some homies, they bashed me. I even heard that the Focusrite new generation is good. I would say, me personally, I would go with the Vault. The Vault, it gives you best of both worlds. It gives you the analog circuitry that people will want to have in a digital space. They have their own compressors that you can use, and you're dealing with ultimately preamps.